Привет, this is the headphone addict. Привет, Привет, this is the headphone addict, and today we're doing a review of the Heed Obelisk DX. Okay, you guys, so this is the Heed Obelisk DA, as I said, and as you can see, it still has the protective plastic on the front face. Reason being that I've only borrowed this from the Norwegian importer Mois Audio. Check him out if you live in Norway. Put a link in the description box. Also, you can see that there are a few air bubbles on the front face due to the plastic wrapping, so please don't mind those. So how am I going to do this review? Well, firstly, I'm going to show you the front buttons. Then I'm going to talk about the features, and I'm going to flip this baby around and show you the rear of it. Furthermore, we are going to go full on Hannibal on this thing and rip it pun open to look inside. Due to the fact that there are 3 individual filter settings which will affect the sound. So we have to look inside to talk about the sound. So basically that's my introduction. So let's get right onto it, shall we? Okay, so let's get right into it, shall we? As you can see, this is the white unit. It also comes in a full-on black unit, and you also get this hyper advanced remote control, which you can see here. So hyper advanced remote control. Wow. So that's what you get in the package. So basically, let me just pop this baby on. Okay, so let's turn this thing on. There we go, and as you can see, there's really not much to it. You have 1 in the display, and if you're changing the source by going up, you only go through 5 because there are 5 inputs. And you can go down again, and this lovely D button is the dim button, so you just press it once and there you go. Also, listen to this beautiful sound of the relays. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let's flip this baby around, shall we, and take a look at the rear. Okay, so here is the rear of the unit. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inputs. The normal RCA PDIF, a BNC PDIF, a pair of optical toslinks, and of course a USB for your computer. Furthermore, you have a pair of outputs, and let me explain those. The line output has a higher voltage gain than the direct output. This is 2.5 volts, whereas this is only 1.25. So for instance, if you're going to use this with a passive preamplifier, you would want to use the higher voltage outputs. Whereas if you have an active preamp, you would use a lower voltage, most likely. Let me just say that these 2 outputs give you the option of optimizing your gain structure, so you will have less noise in your system. So try which works best for you if you're not into gain structure optimization, and just go with the one you like. So that's that, and both of them has of course constant gain, as the Heed Obelisk DA does not have a built-in preamplifier with volume control, unfortunately. So now let's pop this baby open and have a look at the guts. Okay, so this is the Heed Obelisk DA internals. And as you can see, it has a pair of toroidal transformers, one for the analog circuitry and one for the digital circuitry. Also, you have a modular design, so here's the USB audio card. This is the 2.0, and this is the DAC card, which is the Dactyl V2.1. So this is the newest one, and this has 3 individual settings which you can set by using this jumper right here. So let me zoom in. There you go. So this jumper basically works like this. You just take it off, and you have 3 pins. So off is one setting, on those 2 is another one, and connecting it over to the middle and left one gives you a 3rd filter. So those are the 3 filters, and 2 of them sound quite similar actually. They have a roll-off which takes the harshness away from digital recordings, whereas the last setting is kind of a brick wall, which were used in earlier D to A converters, and that gives you more of the usual grain in and harshness in digital recordings. So basically, if you have a very forgiving system, you would want maybe to use the brick wall one. And if you have a super revealing system and you find that digital recordings just don't give you what you want, you would want to use the more rolled off version. Also, if you are using a computer, you can always upsample if you find that the roll off is too much. So you can upsample in your computer when you send it to the USB, and the roll off will basically not be as pronounced. So pretty neat design, and I really enjoy the fact that it's modular. So they upgraded this card, and instead of you having to buy a whole new unit, you can just pop it open and switch the card, or have your audio retailer do it for you. So that's pretty neat. Also, if something goes to pieces, you can always switch out the cards. You don't have to send the entire unit back. So quite great that they've started with modular designs in the audio industry, actually, as is quite common in the PC industry. So that's basically it, and now I'm going to talk more about the sound. Okay, so let me talk about my impressions of the device, as well as some pros and cons, and also a little bit of a summary. So, sound-wise, sound. This thing, as I'm saying, it sounds analog, and it also has a very blossomy mid-range, and that's very good. It's not something like the Mytek Digital, which is ultra revealing and flat. This has more bloom in the mid-range, sort of. The channel separation and the stereo imaging, etc., is very good, but in the mid-range is where this really excels, in my opinion, with that blossomy, beautiful mid-range. The mid-bass punch is not as good as with Mytek or Lavry DA11, for instance. I can show you that. So this is the Lavry DA11 digital to analog converter with crossfeed function, etc. This is something you would pick up if you were after ultra neutral sound. So this is ultra neutral, and it also sounds much flatter, not as musical as the Heed. So that's worth taking note of, and it's really musical, and it really gives you a lot of pleasure, I would say. And I've had a lot of fun with this thing, both with the headphones and with my stereo system. I've tried it with 3 speakers. One in particular were a pair of JBL 120 Ti's, which have a very harsh top end, and the Heed really tamed that off tremendously, so it sounded absolutely phenomenal with digital recordings. When I used the Lavry, the results were kind of ear-piercing in comparison, so that's also worth considering when you're looking for a D2A converter. I've tried multiple D2A converters, and I have to say that there's not a whole lot of difference between the Mytek Digital, which you can see in the rear there, in the back there, and something like the Lavry. But when it comes to Heed versus those, there are absolutely differences, and it just comes to show that if you go for a completely other sound signature, you will find it, but if you aim for neutral, that's what you'll get, no matter if you go for the Lavry or the Mytek. So that's worth noting. So firstly, I would like to say a con with this device is the fact that the display does not show you what kind of input you're using. It only shows you the numbers 1 through 5. I would have liked if it said USB, PDIF 1, PDIF 2, toslink 1, toslink 2. So that's a little bit of a shame. Wish they had done that, as it's not easy to remember which is which all the time. Second con is that when you use it in USB mode and you have it and you're using it with your computer basically, and probably watching some YouTube movies, watching a little bit of this, a little bit of that, the relays inside click from time to time when the sample rate changes. So it will make a little click now and then. So that's also worth noting. So that are the cons. The pros are, firstly, I think it looks great. Secondly, I think that the filter settings are absolutely phenomenal. The option of being able to roll off the treble a little bit on harsh recordings and get a more lush and pleasing analog sound is very good. And if you have a very laid-back system, you can also always use the brick wall filter, and it will be much more revealing and a little bit harder sounding. Thirdly, I think that the two outputs that let you optimize the gain structure in your system is really awesome, and all the inputs, that's a pro. Very great connectivity with all of those inputs, so it's very good. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but this thing uses a Wolfson chip inside, and also the modular design is something I'm really happy about. I hope that more audio manufacturers go that route, as it's much better to being able to upgrade the cards, just like in the Burson for instance. So that's also very good in my opinion. So basically this has been my review of the Heed Obelisk D2A converter, and I thank you for watching. Bye guys.